Hello, welcome. I'm here today with visionary author Kelly Dowd, and Kelly is really about unleashing human intelligence. Kelly is a best-selling author, innovation designer, and systems architect whose work bridges human-centered intelligence, sustainability, architecture, ethics, and designed futures. So hello, Kelly. How are you today?
I'm very well. I can't complain at all, especially when I'm in the midst of ball and nature, because I could hear the birds chiming in your background. So yes, I'm in good hands.
Nice, nice. Well, it's wonderful to be here with you today, and I really just want to spend some time talking about the power of hands, which is your book, The Power of Hands. You'd like to give us an intro, an overview of what it's all about?
Well, absolutely. The core purpose of the Power of Hand is to provide a new operating system for leadership and life, and that replaces extraction with integrity. And the one thing readers should not miss is that trust is not measurable financially anymore, and because now it's now a relational asset. Most people view ethics or being a good person as a secondary cost or nice to have. So I make the case for the opposites, just thinking about integrity is the only thing that scales in this so-called rapid acceleration of artificial intelligence and modernization and consumption of content. So, and the core premise focus on three things. One, ROI, that is the shift from return on investment to return on integrity, which actually leverage the four P's, that is people, planet, pragmatism, and profits, a coherent view of trying to make a better life and to have a better purpose. And also, the other part is the end to silos, because right now man works against nature, and the only thing that we know that working against nature is actually a death sentence to man, because nature will always win. And last but not the least is integrative collaboration. Integrative collaboration is just the beautiful amalgamation of ideas, bringing everything together from different people, skills, ethnicity, and all, in order to create the beautiful civilization that we want to be a part of. And the last but not the least, I know I've said the last but not the least twice. However, this is actually the core one. So, which is, it's all about the architecture that we are building, because everything is designed around system, the system of fear, the system of perpetuation, the system of enormous consumption. At the end of the day, we all to come together as the main architect to architect the future that we want.
It's beautiful. You're bringing together so many critical attributes in terms of what's necessary to be able to recreate an architecture that we want to actually want to live a life that we want to live. It sounds like you're bringing a whole new approach to design. Is that accurate?
That is pretty much accurate, because I feel that the system that actually governs us is completely obsolete. It is so outdated. The models of the absent will and all that is completely outdated, and we need a model to really help us to re-engineer, to reimagine, and put us in that good place that we need to be. And that is why redesigning the system that designed you is critical. And it's imperative, because each and everything that we do in life, we can't do it alone. We're not alone at all. And of course, even not to be biblical here, or not to be a fanatic of Christianity and all, but there is something that is apropos to what the Bible say from the Adam and Eve perspective. Adam was alone, yeah, and the universe said, "Oh God, if you believe in Christianity deeply," and God said, "Well, we should create, another in our own image." So basically, took the rib of Adam and made a woman. So it's sad. And that really makes us understand that everything is not supposed to be isolated. We were not born in isolation, and we were not supposed to exist on the island. And in order for us to be successful, we have to find a way to collaborate integratively. And that is the key reason why system design matters a lot.
Mm. It's interesting on your profile. You mention about the intention of design and how that impacts and shapes civilization. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. Right now, you and I, we are communicating virtually. How did that happen? That's a beautiful song, by the way. The Bird, doing this
Mm.
on magic. How did that happen? How are we able to connect virtually? You are somewhere in the East Coast. I'm also in the East Coast as well. I'm in Ohio, Midwest. But yes, we're communicating. You see me, I see you.
Yes.
It's all happened as a result of system.
Mm.
Each and every civilization that have occurred that we have been a part of actually was designed systemically. Okay, let's be realistic here. A lot of the time, people don't understand that even pencil, right, is a technology. They don't understand that biro is a technology, a pen is a technology. Let me take you back to it. Technology is whatever advancements that man developed to make man's life easy.
Mm.
So look at it from that perspective. Once upon a time, we didn't have the computer, we didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have mugs, we didn't have anything. We did none. Begin going back to the Stone Age. Now, people even use stick and stone to write on the wall to make inscriptions and all that.
Mm.
So here we are. We have evolved. We've gone through the industrialization era, and yet we are in the technological era. I mean, it's been existing for long, but advanced technology has catapulted us so far, far, far ahead of where we're supposed to be,
Mm.
which begs the question, if we are designing this new civilization, how ethical are we? Have we taken into account the HAND framework? And the HAND frameworks actually focus on one, the H, humanity, A, adaptation, N, nature, D, design, and S, sustainability.
Mm.
You're creating
That's
a civilization,
mm.
exactly, you're creating a civilization for beings, for Homo sapien, you're creating all of this. We are creating new technology, new AI inventions, all of those, all to advance the human civilization. The people you're creating for. I mean, if you are part of the elite class, if you're part of the top 1%, I congratulate you. The main question I have for you is, whenever you decide to create something, or whenever you decide to be a leader, or like a tech and all that, are you creating what is net new to advance peacefully the existence of mankind? Or are you creating to be in war with nature, to compete with nature, and to lead yourself to another extension?
Mm. The difference between inclusion and separation, it sounds like.
Exactly. And that is the key reason why designing a sustainable future through integrated collaboration is paramount because, again, back to the fundamentals philosophy of life, man cannot exist on an island. So basically, man needs to work with other men. Okay,
Mm.
let's strip it. Let's strip it. Take yourself, put yourself in a kitchen, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're in a kitchen and you decide you want to make a delicious pot of soup because you will be hosting people, or maybe
Okay.
rice,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe anything, in as much as you're in the kitchen. Let's stick with a pot of soup. If you decide to just boil water, even though you make the temperature of the water above 300 degrees, have you made a soup? The answer is no, you've not made a soup. But should you decide to have your pepper, your tomato, your onion, your let's say tofu if you're vegan, or your chicken if you eat chicken. All of those, the spices, all of those little everything that you add together, it was actually give the soup flavor. It's actually what gives the soup texture. It's also what gives the soup color. It's also what gives the soup vibrancy, and also it is what makes the soup extremely titillating. If you're the kind of person that can get titillation out of just delicious soup, like I can. So, which means it takes a whole heaven to make that soup happen.
Mm. It's
Back
not
to
just.
sustainability. No, it's
Mm-mm.
not just one person at all. It takes a whole village to raise a child. I'm sure, but you're familiar with that. It
Sure.
is same thing which it takes a village to make a pot of soup because all of those ingredients that you're using, pretty sure, darling, they are from all over the world, not just from the United States alone.
Sure.
I
Absolutely.
will leave you with that.
So when you think about creating a new civilization, is it one soup or is it a series of different soups that all come together in some harmonious way to honor people's differences, even though people are unique at the local level?
The beautiful thing is, first of all, let me say this. That is a fantastic question. Thank you so much. The beautiful thing about your question, Bo, is when you're talking about the new civilization, you don't need a bowl of many soup. No. What you need a cluster of ingredients. The cluster of ingredients is what will make that soup that everyone eats delicious and memorable. If you're building a house, you can't have so many architects designing one house because there'll be clash of vision. If you're trying to place the foundation of a house and also the bricks, the plywood, the studs, all of it all,
Mm-hmm.
it's all a beautiful engineering of clusters of skills. Because what happened is, back to the soup ingredient again, when you have so many diverse ingredients, you make the soup delicious. And to the house, when you have diverse skill sets of people building a house, from the architectural design to the excavation and to the survey of the land, to excavation, to the foundation building,
Mm-hmm.
and to the drywalling, to the painting, to the interior architecture of the house, to the photos that you hang around, to the kitchen design, everything. You don't need one person. One person cannot do it all alone. It requires a collective to build a house. And listener, if you have a business, think about it. Who do you create your business for? Do you create your business to just exist on a beautiful website and not sell to anyone? Oh, if you have a service, who is your service for? Oh, is it for yourself? No, the service is not for yourself. You create a service for somebody else to be able to like consume the service,
Mm-hmm.
to utilize whatever tool or product that you've created. That is the beauty of integrative collaboration. And at its core, let me say this, at its core, it ties back to empathy because empathy is a foundational element of how integrative collaboration works.
Mm-hmm.
Because without empathy, for example, if Bo and I we are going into a project, let's
Mm-hmm.
say we are to design, uh, we are to write a book together, and I know a lot about Bo. Bo knows a lot about me, or a few things about me. If I know that Bo have, let's say, for instance, Bo has a challenge with roofing, And I know that Bo has a challenge with roofing, but yet we have a deadline
Mhm.
to finish a chapter of the book by X amount of days. Let's say the deadline was to finish the chapter of the book next tomorrow in 2 days. How on earth do I think Bo will be able to concentrate and give him equality?
Mm.
It won't happen. Reverse to me if Kelly was in the same shoe. However, if I had empathy and I decide, but my friend, I understand what is happening at home and I know that you need time. Do you, first of all, need extra time? Now, it is up to Bo to say, Kelly, I think that is thoughtful of you. I think I'm fine. Or I think I need 2 more days or 5 more days and I will get to you because I have to finish this roof.
Mm.
That is empathy. Just trying to put yourself in both situation and feel, okay, well, boy is stressed right now. Oh, Kelly is stressed. How will I feel if I was Bo? How will Bo feel if he was Kelly? And that is a foundational element of how we could start by creating the new civilization that we need.
That's a beautiful core, is to start with empathy, because it's actually it's lacking in a lot of people. And what's fascinating, I used to work with Gallup, and Gallup designed a strengths finder assessment that ranks 34 different talent profiles, and empathy is the lowest scoring talent on the assessment. It's number 34. And so I found that fascinating.
It's interesting. And I'm sure you're familiar with this. One of the key reasons why people kind of underestimate the power of empathy. Empathy, indeed, I laid it as a foundational element in trying to achieve what we call integrative collaboration, which will foster a sustainable future if well utilized. However, empathy is also a critical factor that really helps us to own into whatever that we are trying to create, maybe a product or service. Let's take, for instance, go back to the Hands framework, humanity, adaptation, nature, design, sustainability. Those 5 words, one common thread that they have is empathy. Humanity, we need to empathize with each other. We need to understand that our life is not perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. I mean, yes, you see all of those videos, content on social media or celebrities and all of that. You think, oh my God, their life is perfect. No, it's not. No, there are a lot of people won't tell you the main pain point of what they're going through. Because the truth is, we all go through pain. So empathy is a critical tool in understanding the beauty of humanity and how we can deeply be intertwined and collaborate without friction.
Mm.
Then you go to adaptation or adaptivity and you ask yourself, bring it home. Do I even have empathy in myself? How do I get to a point where I'll be able to adapt to this new challenge or to this new situation? What do I need to do? What do I need to say? How do I need to act? You have yourself all of these questions. Then lead to nature. Nature has demonstrated a beautiful, deep level of empathy that nature has shown to us time and time and time and time and time. But
Mm.
when nature is angry, you know what happens?
Mm.
The Ice Age is never too long. It's still a story that a lot of us still remember, Jurassic Park and all of that.
Mm.
But we can see the power of nature. So which means don't bite the hand that feed you.
Yes, exactly.
You, yep, you are a beautiful integration of nature because you know why? You are nature yourself.
Wow,
You
it's
look at
beautiful.
yourself in the mirror, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah, followed by design. And design, if you're designing anything, you need empathy. Empathy to understand who you're designing for. What is their pain points? Because you can't design without understanding the pain points of your client.
It's beautiful. So it sounds like empathy is really coming from the heart. So is it, you think that a lot of people are trapped in their head and they need to make the journey to get into their heart to be able to perform in a integrative way that is collaborative in nature, that is contributive in a very positive way?
Indeed, indeed, they need to. People need to learn to use the beauty of the connection of the heart and the head. Right here, the connection of both, it was actually help you to be an effective leader and also an effective decision maker, and
Mm.
including an effective manager, and to be honest, an effective human.
So it sounds like the head is useful to be able to think through options and whatnot,
Yes,
but
analytical options.
really tapping into that heart space to make that empathic decision, knowing,
Exactly,
understanding, for example, the impact on the next 7 generations, to be able to have
exactly,
that long-term outlook versus
exactly,
the short-term profit mindset that most people have.
exactly. And I remembered one thing that I will never forget that I learned from Professor Catherine McPherson of Mary Baldwin University. So that was my alma mater where I had my undergrad degree in business, but my emphasis was HR, human resources management. And frankly, the key reason why my emphasis was HR, because I was all for a believer of, in order for us to make reputable organizations with purpose, deep meaning, and organization that are ready to continuously to make impact, you need a great HR angle,
Mm.
which means you need people. And that was the key reason why I decided to have my emphasis in HR,
Nice.
because I wanted to go back to the soul. I wanted a situation where there is a deep connection between people, the planet, pragmatism, and profits, the 4 Ps,
Mm.
which leads to the ROI, sustainable ROI, which is return on integrity. So, and Catherine Matheson, she asked a question, and I remember we used Blackboard. It was an online class. And she said, I would like you guys to make an argument of, is it better for you as a leader to lead with your heart alone or with your head or with both? And I remember I had my popcorn ready, literally. I was just like, okay, this is going to be good. This will give me opportunity to understand people's mind and see how they think or what they value. However, may I say this? I wasn't trying to be devious or mischievous with my thinking to just say, oh, this person is wrong, this person is right. No. I had to use a sociological approach to understand the human behavior, how people, why are people thinking the way they think, how, when, what. So all of those questions in their mind, I wanted to unravel everything. I wanted to know. So I remember I was the last person who actually submitted my assignment. So I commented, because you have to write your paper and comment, on at least 3 posts of your mates. And of course, the professor is privy to all of this. So
Okay.
I decided, I read people's posts, and I was just like, interesting perspective, interesting answer. And I remember no one actually made the connection between the heart and the head, and why both of them are critical in being an effective leader or an effective manager or an effective person to make an effective decision. So I remember I decided, okay, you know what? I would take my time, I will write this at night. So I wrote mine, and my piece just focused on the integration of both. So my piece focused on, you need both to be successful, because the reality is life will always humble you when you think you know everything.
Mm. That's for sure.
Because When you look at it from that perspective as well, that the humility that nature, life, puts to you, if you say, oh, I will make this decision with just my heart alone, then you're losing the mathematics of what could have happened if you think about scenario A, B, C.
Mm.
If you say, I'm just going to use my head and use the data because data is key nowadays and data is almost everything. Let's be realistic. And you're simply just going to like use data to make the decision. What happened is when you're using that data, your mind, you're not thinking about how biased that data is just because you're using your head. And also, you're not thinking about the criticality of human nature, that is empathy, because you lose that. Empathy is absent. But when you decide to say, you know what, I'm gonna like put people, humanity first. Think about them. Okay, what would I do if I was this person's situation? Or if I'm to like make this decision, how will it profit the company? Or will it put the company as a disadvantage to the community that we claim that we support, right? From a community advancement perspective. Then your brain think about all of those puzzles. Then the next thing is, well, okay, what is the math though? Let's scale back. What is the data? What's the data telling us? So is this like a yin yang effect, or is this just a yin, or is this a yang? No, it's always a yin yang. So the beauty is finding the sweet spots to make it coherent by integrating the heart and the head. So empathy and analytics, that is how I put it. So the analytics is the data that you've analyzed to get to point A to point B about your decision. But empathy is the other critical foundational element that you need to ensure that your information or your argument or your decision is coherent.
It's beautiful. It makes total sense. You have it all woven together so beautifully, and the way that you articulate it is it's very clear. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Bo. I appreciate it.
So the power of hands. It's the book link is on the screen, so people can go to Amazon. And it's my understanding it's been a bestseller in multiple categories. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, indeed. It's been a bestseller in economics category, in business development category, in sustainable technology category, and sustainable development category as well. About 4 to 5 different categories, niche categories. So you can easily find the book when you type or you use the link here, The Power of Hands. And hence is all cap because hence is the framework that tied everything together. And also the power of hand is an it has a dual format, an allegorical fiction from the Kingdom of Tuloom. They actually tied the whole story together. So readers, you don't get bored by reading academic book.
That's beautiful. You actually bring together both fiction and nonfiction. So you actually are
Indeed.
able to integrate nonfiction understandings into fiction storytelling.
Yes. So in the fiction aspect is just the whole driver that bring everything, and that is the reason why when you read the book, even the frameworks, because there is reflection, because all of my literary works have to have reflections in it for you
Mm.
to be able to like meditate what you've heard and think about it and how applicable it is, and there's some questions for you in order to journey through life because we cannot journey through life alone. And if you think you can journey through life alone without the help, interference, or collaboration and integration of your fellow human being, good luck. Please give me the report of how it turns out for you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so part of your book and is available on your profile on the site, so people can get a free peek. Is that true?
That is correct. And I promise you, you will get a full copy as well. And listeners, you can go on Spotify to find the audiobook and buy the audiobook on Audible on Amazon as
Nice.
well. So, yes, you can listen. And when you listen, you will hear of the voice of an incredible gentleman from Namibia that actually that did a voiceover of the book because I don't like the sound of my own voice.
I think you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you. You're being kind to me.
Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation and better understanding the power of hands, and I really encourage people to check it out. And And I really just send you my best. I think you have a wonderful vision for your future as far as all the writing that you're doing. So I send you good energy to keep things rolling.
Thank you
So
so much, Bo, and really appreciate the conversation. And thanks for being an amazing human being and trying to create something that could lead to the new Earth civilization and make people realize a divine awakening is happening, and we all need to be part of the future.
that's it right there. It's going to happen together through integrative collaboration.
Indeed.